Hi Libra, welcome to your full moon in Gemini reading for November 27th, 2023. Full moons close out cycles. This could be one that started 2 weeks ago, but it can be longer. The energy or the direction that your reading is going in is fragmented energy. Number 6 and energy is the theme. 6 wants to bring balance back to this fragmented energy. Maybe you're trying to put bits and pieces together, trying to understand a particular puzzle. Maybe your energies are kind of split. There can be a lot of things going on mentally, emotionally, but certainly energetically. Really means that you're kind of, there's bits and pieces everywhere, and you're trying to put things back together. Or at least bring balance to some of that fragmented energy. That's the direction the reading is going in. Your personal focus for the next 2 weeks is the Judgment card. I like this card. It's the one right before the world, right before we graduate, right before we move on to a next new big cycle. The card reads freedom, rebirth, fresh start, renewal, life purpose. It's kind of like the clarion call for me. Nice rainbow there. Which is fragmented light. Interesting. So, judgment. It is the call to action. And it's because we have learned something. We've put some pieces together. There's some epiphanies that are happening. And it's called judgment probably because you can finally put those fragmented pieces together and it makes a whole. It makes an understanding. And from there you can move. You can make that judgment. You can make a proper judgment. It's not just little bits and pieces from here and there. You've actually collected those fragmented energies, ideas, thoughts, actions, put them together, and it's cohesive, and you can understand it, and from that point you can make a really good judgment. You understand the whole instead of just a bit here, a bit there. So I find that an interesting combination, to be honest. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay out all the cards first, and this first column is where you find yourself at the time of the full moon, or something that you are finishing up or completing. Maybe you're bringing a certain cycle to an ending. The second column is you and how you deal with the situation, your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, what you're going to do, how you're going to think. Judgment again. That's been happening throughout the readings, getting verification, so that's interesting. And lastly, the potential outcome. I don't usually like to wear these sleeves with these readings. I'm going to knock over several cards, I can tell already. Okay. Potential outcome of the next 2 weeks. All right, let's get started. We're dealing with, in the first case, what's closing out for you. With the Tower card here. These are epiphanies, absolutely. But it is something that kind of comes unexpectedly, and it may be a bit of a shock, but they are breaking down old belief systems, which inevitably change your physical reality. So for me, the Tower card is like the hand of God that wipes away what is no longer necessary in your life. Certainly no laughing matter, because it can come as a bit of a shock or unexpected, but it is freeing you from something that you may not have been able to get out of, or didn't want to be in the first place, or didn't want to be involved with in the first place, but found that you couldn't quite free yourself from it. And so the Tower is, if you are unable to do this yourself, this is the universe or the hand of God that helps you out. It just always comes as a little more of a shock than had you have done it yourself. But it feels to me like it's something that maybe you had in mind anyway. And in a way, maybe you had something to do with it, especially with this card, because this is Mercury in Sagittarius, and this is the Law of Attraction card. It is where thoughts go, energy flows. And all of the passion, all of the thoughts, all of the information is moving in the same direction, so there's a swiftness to it. But this can mean that maybe you couldn't do anything physically about it, but your thoughts and your feelings and emotions were all moving in the same direction, and so perhaps you were the god of this situation that kind of made it happen. Whether you are conscious of it or unconscious of it, the thoughts and emotions that you had, even on a subconscious level, could create that. 8 is putting a lot of energy behind your passions, and in doing so, they move quite swiftly. Three of Wands with that. Whatever has happened with the Tower card, for everyone, that's going to be different. It's going to be an unexpected shake-up and a release, right? A release of energy, a release of belief system, or a shift in belief. The Three of Wands are allies. And this can come in many forms. It can come in books. It can come in the guise of people, workshops, podcasts, something that helps you to get a leg up and move you in new, different directions that are harmonious with what it is that you do want. So you are releasing what was no longer necessary with the Tower card. And in this case, I have a feeling it's a good thing. Because it seems to me like there were certain situations or things that you just didn't want to be in anyway. Even if it is a belief, there was maybe something very deep subconscious that you probably didn't believe in it anyway. But 3 is a magic number, right? It's the Trinity. And it is a lot of energy as well. People who have the numerological 3 frequency are, it's sort of like endless, boundless energy. And they can just keep going. It's definitely the Energizer Bunny energy. The only problem they can, it's a very creative energy, and the only problem they can really run up against is burnout, because they just keep going and going and going and don't really pay attention to when they need to take that rest. So we can be looking out into the larger world with that 3 of Wands and wanting to focus our energy in the direction that we want to go in. So we're drawing people, situations, workshops, books, that kind of thing, anything that can help us get a leg up, anything that can help us move in new and different directions. This is the Allies card, so it can be people, but it can also be scenarios, self-help books, workshops, that kind of thing. And it really does, Libra, help us to keep our thoughts moving in the direction we want things to go in. Really nice, this. You're behaving like a Queen of Swords, and again, judgment. So there is, I mean, if anybody's going to make a judgment, it's definitely the Queen of Swords. Sometimes she can do it harshly, but it is her truth. And she has the ability to be very discerning. She can look at the fine print or the small details and gather that information up, right? That fragmented energy, the fine details, pulling them all together to make this judgment. They're usually intelligent people, so you're using your intellect in this sense to bring all the pieces together and make that final decision with the judgment card, which is an awakening card, right? It helps us to make that decision, to make that judgment, and to move on it, to act on it. It's the clarion call. It's we understand now what our purpose is, where we belong in the universe. It's big stuff. It's not little things, although it may be directed towards something that we consider more minor, but it really is a larger overriding energy on even a very deep soul level, which brings change. It brings transformation. It brings renewal. Exactly. Rebirth, right? These two match so wonderfully because this is transformation and this is rebirth, right? So death is Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It's Scorpio is the phoenix symbol, right? From our own ashes, we are reborn, new. And that's something that's happening here with you. Now you have quite a few major arcana already, so this can be very much felt on an internal level. And but on a very mundane level as well, we can be revising something, transforming it, and bringing it sort of back around, but on a higher level, on a bigger scale, or a deeper level. It is transformation. Both cards are very interesting. And you are using your intellect with the Queen of Swords, and you're discerning energy. And when you think about the fragmented energy, you're kind of pulling all the bits and pieces together to make this judgment. The outcome is the Fool card and the Hanged Man. So the Fool card is going to get you started onto a new journey. There's pure potential with the Fool. And you're ready to go, but the Hangman is saying maybe not just yet. There is more perspective, or a different perspective, that you need to see first. And while you're ready to go, with the Fool card, right, it's a leap of faith, and it is pure potential. I always think of the Fool, it's zero. And so this can be the egg, right? The egg that holds all the information necessary to be a chicken, or a seed that holds all the information to be a plant, or a carrot, whatever. It has all that information there. It just needs to be unpacked at its proper time. And the Hangman is exactly that proper timing. Because things are not quite yet in your hands with the Hanged Man. It means that something else is steering the ship, but in the meantime, you have the ability to see things from another perspective. There is some sort of enlightenment going on, some new sort of understanding, but it is from a completely different perspective than we are normally aware of with the Hanged Man. Now, the Hangman is associated with the element of water, and so water is mutable. Water is it flows, right? We have to let it flow. We cannot stop it. It's very difficult, and water will wear down even the hardest substance. So there is the idea here of seeing things from another perspective, but kind of there's a sacrifice that goes on with it. This is the card of Odin, who the Norse god who gave up an eye for knowledge. So there is some sort of sacrifice here that needs to be, well, not needs to be, that is probably going to happen because of this new journey, or this new cycle that you're going to start with the Fool. And you may have to give up something to do that. And especially when you have the Death card, right? This is the end of um, something in order for it to transform into something better, something higher, next level stuff. Interesting. You have the King of Swords here that goes along, and they're a pair. Now, this can be you because you are leveling up. The King of Swords is master of his mental faculties, and this is maybe what we're doing here. Maybe that's what's transforming. And remember, I said something here about belief systems. And so there is some major belief system that may be changing for you. The King of Swords is my Libra card, and so this is definitely you, and it can be you, your energy, rather. But it can also be somebody that you're dealing with, right? It can also be somebody who's transforming with you, but it feels to me like you're leveling up here. Because of the Death card and the Judgment card, right? They're both rebirth. And so it feels to me like we're waking up to our higher self here, or to a higher level of self. Through new understandings, through taking fragmented energy and putting it back together again. Really, this feels like belief systems to me. Okay. It's kind of a deeper level reading. And again, you have several major arcana, so it can be at a more internal level, things that are happening internally. And a change or a shift in the way you think, in your thought process, and your belief systems. And I think you're ready to kind of take a leap of faith into these new ideas, or this new adventure, or this new proposed plan. And you have allies, you have people who maybe think like you, act like you, who are already there and can sort of give you a helping hand, especially with that Three of Wands, because these are allies. But there's transformation in between this. And again, you have the pair. So this is definitely somebody, if it is not you, the more elevated you, the more masterful you, because again, King of Swords, Libra, is master of his mental faculties. She's on her way, but there is this sort of transformational energy. And then we end up as the King of Swords, which is yourself and hopefully your higher self. But with the Death card and the Hanged Man, there is some sort of sacrifice here. Something has to be given up, maybe an old belief system, in order to move up. What the Spirit wants you to know, you have the Knight of Wands, adventure, so the Fool card. On a negative side, impulse. Now, sometimes that can be the Tower card, but action, absolutely. Judgment, which is a call to action, right? Energy, passion, anger, heedless, it says. For me, the Knight of Wands is messenger card. So you may hear some information, something may come to light that kind of pulls up a new passion for you. It again, a call to action, right? A call to a new adventure. It's an impulsive energy, for sure, but we're passionate about it. And so something very interesting can happen during the next 2 weeks that is definitely a call to action. I see that, I mean, twice with the Judgment card and this one. And you're ready to act. The swords are action. And so you maybe thought goes first, but physical action follows it quite quickly. And the Knight of Wands is definitely a quick acting energy and passionate. And you just want to be a little bit careful about any anger, because that can be the Tower energy as well, right? It's also fiery and comes out of nowhere sort of energy, as is the Knight of Wands. But you find your equilibrium. You're still Libra, right? And you come to that King of Swords energy, understanding both sides of something, right? Maybe a belief system. Okay, it's kind of a deeper reading. It's not very superficial, but there it is. Thank you for listening. I hope it's helped. I will return in 2 weeks with a new moon reading. Take good care.